Okay, here we go. We are in the sauna, just so everybody knows. And Neidra's been here. Neidra, Gabriel, has been at our, what we call our reset retreat, where you reset a lot of things that you need to reset. And that's sometimes things that you didn't even know you needed to reset. And she's graduated. You're leaving today.
I know. Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Can you tell us just a little bit about your journey? Because remember, she's no spring chicken, and you should see this girl exercise. You should see her actually teach and inspire people, because she brought a group of people up here, and it was really nice to have this group because they were all, I call them semi-advanced people, because it's not that anybody's really sick, it's that everybody wants to grow. And everybody was helping each other grow, is because constantly that's what you need, is good energy around you. So you were beautiful, you guys. So tell us about your little journey.
Well, I've been wanting to come here for a few years. I follow Dr. Cassar on Earther Academy, and I always thought this would be the most amazing experience. I've always been interested in health and upgrading my lifestyle. I teach yoga and Pilates, so I'm into what I eat, how I feel. For the last few years, I have been starting to feel older and tired and just like having a general fatigue. I have a lot of willpower, so I still keep on going, but I didn't like how I was feeling. And I have to say I was starting to feel, you could say, old, but I don't consider that those kind of feelings and sensations are coming from a number, like age. I think it comes from lifestyle and accumulation of waste. So, long story short, turned up here with a group of my very devoted friends who are just like me and wanting to do crazy things. It was quite interesting promoting this event, because I knew it's not for everybody. We want to come and water fast. So
it was a girl event, which was nice. A lot of good feminine energy.
Yeah. So we came, which is wonderful, because I came with all my friends. It wasn't like just my own journey. Did the water fasting, did the rehydration with probiotic fluids, received a lot of the IVs. And for me, it's been a massive, massive reboot of my whole system. I feel like I'm 20 years younger. There is a joy of life back that I haven't really felt for a long time, that's just natural. There's just this happiness inside me. I'm very, very, very inspired to take all the protocols that I've learned here and implement them into my daily life. And it's just set a bar for me personally on a level of care and things. Like I want to do something like this once a year at least, and then make smaller fasts, smaller protocols on a weekly or monthly basis. So it's been a massive education and a massive process for me of connecting the dots, because I've known many of the protocols from Earther Academy. I have been implementing and trying different things, but I couldn't see the big picture, and I never kind of got the oomph result of like everything working together, and suddenly it's like brum. So
and there's nothing else to do, but why you came here was to follow a lot of different things sometimes that you got to squeeze into your real world. So this has been your world that I've seen you guys all. You know, everybody that came here did at least 7 days of water fasting, which is heroic. That's a graduation. Remember, you can't even do, if you tried to, 1 day of juice fasting. Okay, forget about even water fasting. And then if you're going to do steam distilled water fasting, especially when you're not as toxic, this really gets in, because your cells are just more available to be able to release things. So Neidra did 7 days.
Yeah, I was one of the short ones. I was like the lead who did the short version.
But your 7 days, though, because I've been doing this for a while, is like somebody that's more clogged, okay? Like Wendy, she did 13, 14 days, let's say, okay? But you probably got more, okay, of the deeper detox. And she got superficial detox, so you have to do it way longer.
Yeah.
So when you start detoxing, all the surface stuff starts going, okay? And you got a lot of body fat, let's say, you got a lot of food. So your system's not really that needy, okay? Because it's going through its transformation, get a little mind stuff. But when you're pretty lean, and you guys were lean, both your girlfriend,
Maggie,
Michelle,
yeah.
Maggie?
Yeah.
you guys both did 7 days, and you're getting a deeper form. Remember, you guys did saunas.
Yeah, daily sauna.
Exercise and colon hydrotherapy. Okay, doing IV therapies to be able to massage, to support pulling things out of your body. So this is a real magical protocol, and it's very simple. It's just taking a lot of different integrative protocols that are easy, is what I call them, efficient and economical. And you sort of put them all together where people can handle them. And the magic is, after about 10 days, as you've noticed, because not only you had your own personal journey, but you got a chance to see everybody transform their journey from the outside.
Oh, and that was food for my soul, because I know these girls and I knew the issues, and it's been life-giving just to see two of the girls came with massive depression issues and fear of changing their whole life, and they knew they wanted more, but they just had this like paralysis and terror of taking action in life. They've all been like, done deal, I'm stepping into my new life. They've written letters saying I'm not doing this job anymore. They've set into motion obligations and activities that are moving them towards a new life. And I've known these girls, they've been struggling with these decisions for 2 or 3 years. And so disconnecting was like clearing. It's been incredibly empowering for the soul to clear the body, and suddenly the spirit can shine. It's fantastic.
Exactly. So what I usually see too is, the nice thing is that, see, most people don't know they're in a mental prison, they're in an emotional prison, or a physical prison, or they're in a prison from electronics, texting and phones and computers. So when you come here, you actually try to reset as many prisons as you can so you can get paroled. So everybody here got paroled, is what I say. You got out of prison, don't get back in prison. And it was, as you saw everybody, it was pretty easy, wasn't it?
It was like much easier than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
The support's amazing, the environment's amazing. Just taking a break from your life meant we flowed. Really, nobody had a hard time with the process. And the enthusiasm to go through the experience and to rise to the challenges.
And everybody working with it, not fighting, not competing.
No.
We're all sort of helping each other try to figure out how far we can go, because you're here to really change your life. And so is everybody else. So it's nice when people here want to help you change your life, because all you have to do really is to reset yourself. You do have to try to go ahead and learn fasting. Really important, guys. It just is. And if I knew this a long time ago from treating patients and having people be able to actually change a lot of their own dysfunction themselves just by stop putting fuel in your body. And the fuel, remember, is connected to whatever lives in your body, not only you, but what lives in there, to be able to feed off of that fuel. And then how much of toxicity and all different other variables, you're dehydrated, you're demineralized, let's say, then all these other factors let the other creatures and the different things that live inside our body be able to sort of take us over very slowly. And after a while, this is what I've really seen. The biggest prison I see is, remember, the parasites that live in our body, and the quote that you have to sort of ask yourself, and it's hard for people to do, just sort of think of this one. Do you eat to live, or do you live to eat? Okay, you eat to live.
Not when Daniel makes meals at night.
Oh, yeah.
Then I live to eat. The food's really good here.
But everything you're eating is
clean food.
Clean. Okay, but when you're waking up in the morning and you're craving things that you know you shouldn't eat, remember, you're eating to live, or you're living to eat. And everybody that finishes at least a 7-day fast, you disconnect this parasite connection, and all of a sudden now you can refuel yourself with the correct things to train, what we call train modify, all the things inside your system that aren't connected anymore. So that's where everybody's at. And she's, remember, like I said, she's way more advanced. Look at her, 60 years old. And today, in our second part, what we're going to do is we're going to do a deeper cleansing. When she came here, she had a lot of what's called scleroderma on her face. Okay, and they're beautiful blue eyes. And scleroderma, everybody has, and that's what's called wrinkles or just thickening of the skin, toxicities from makeup, from mercury fillings, from emotions, just from a variety of things. creatures that live in the pores, creatures that live in the skin, not on the skin. Okay, and so facelift is always nice because her body's like she's 18 years old. She is. She's more flexible and strong, not just flexible. She's like the bamboo, strong but flexible. That's what you want to be. You don't want to be strong and brittle. Okay, strong or stiff. Okay, so I've learned so much. Okay, especially that's why I like to have sometimes groups here that are more advanced, because they sort of push us to be able to see how this works on people that don't even really need it, but you do.
Always.
But most people say, if I was only like you, I'd be happy. But you're yourself, and you know that you can become more in a way that's not greedy. Okay, your body is just this church, and your religion really is to take care of yourself. And once you find out what works for you, share it with other people. Yeah. And it's sort of a nice thing, because this is how you sort of grow. This is where we're at right now, because our program is to share and to teach yourself, but also teach others, and to also learn from others. It's because why? Because you're flexible. So, once you get up to these layers that we're sort of playing with right now, there's no better feeling. And she knows this. I watch her when she does her class. She's so happy, so inspired. It's not work. And she's when she's done, and when I'm done, I've sort of taken her inspiration. She's made me do things not harder. She's made me so I can actually see correct form, but not only that, be in her energy, which is better than mine, because she knows these techniques. And so me learning from different people and then practicing them. Okay, that's why it's so important to go to Pilates, to go to yoga, to go to stretch class, to even go to the gym, to even spend your own time at home after you put all these little pieces together. So what do you think was the most transferring time you were here as far as for yourself? Because there's sort of like everybody gets it. There's this like, aha, I'm disconnected, or I'm like freer, I'm happier, I feel this elation more than I had previously in my life. And there's always this connection when your energy field rises up to this level, and the sun, the earth, nature, and everything really, really sort of turn you on, compared to sometimes if you're at that lower energy, you don't even notice it. You don't smell the roses, as they say. What time do you think did you get that snap? Because you're already a member advanced. So I know that you went from here to down to here because you went ahead and detoxed yourself, okay, such and such. And then there's a point where all of a sudden you rise past to where you were, and then all of a sudden, whoa. And you feel this, to me, I feel this bliss, and I feel it in everybody too.
Yeah. It's true. Well, I can't say there is one point. Each stage had its pinnacle. The water fasting was the disconnect, and I love it because I know when I'm addicted to my programs. I know when my mind's, you walk in the store and you feel the addiction to get, like, why do I have to walk by this and think of eating it? It's like, what's this about? It's great. It's like trapping me. And I hate that feeling of lack of freedom, that I'm being triggered by the environment or by conversation, and it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And even if I'm making good choices, I know the program's running me. So the water fasting for me, I've never done water, that disconnect, there's a point, it's over. The cords are cut, you're like not part of the agenda. Even if someone's eating, it's not like, it's not going the hooks into you, so you to be part of that experience. So the water fasting was day 2, day 3, and I have felt that before, and I just love it. It's like, okay, I'm back. I'm disconnected from the programs.
So before you go, keep your thought. If you were juice fasting, because this is what happens to everybody when tries juice fasting. Guys, juice fasting is very hard to do, more harder than I think than water fasting. Okay, so have you done juice fasting before?
I have done, yes. Those I've done, yes.
Okay, and did you feel, though, between being harder, because remember, you're more advanced, what do you think is better to do, a juice fast more, or this water fast? Because remember, you did it with steam distilled water, right, too.
Depends on where you are. If you're at work, at home and you need to keep your life going,
Juicing.
ironically, juice fasting is doable.
Better
The
than
water
that.
fasting is almost impossible. But if you really have the privilege of being in a supported environment
That's
where
what it is.
people are not going to be saying to you, you're crazy, that when you're not eating, and I've been in those
You're gonna die.
situations. Yes, and you just have everybody's story on top of you when you're in a pure place where everybody's pitching. Water fasting is the quickest, fastest, most pure way to
And easiest.
neutralize. It's easy. It really was not hard. None of us had, we actually came from coffee the day before. All of us are like, shit, we're really like the
And look
scum
at
of the earth.
Wendy didn't even diet one little bit, and she did 13 days. Man, she
Yeah.
was eating meat and potatoes and beans and rice and tortillas and a typical
Yeah, she
Latino
was-
diet.
Yeah, that
She
was
didn't cut down
amazing.
with vegetables. She said she just went right into this. She didn't even know what she was getting into. Remember her 15-year-old son? What a little starseed gets his
Yeah.
mom to come here, and wasn't he a great guy though?
He was awesome. He was just like thriving here.
And he wasn't 15.
No.
He was 15 physically, but he was playing like he was almost 25. Very curious and wants to know this layer that he was excited with everybody that's sort of playing in this evolution. Take care of yourself, learn about nature, do all these pieces. So it was,
What a cool guy.
yeah, what a nice. So keep on going. Sorry.
Oh, well, so water fasting was a disconnect, and it was easy, and the support.
And profound.
And was, for me, a process of really, really honoring my unique body set of circumstances, because I'm fundamentally very competitive, and I read all the brochures that said you have to do 14 days, so I'm immediately, my mind's starting to go 14, got to do this, you're not going to get benefit. So I usually have a very active mental process. So for me, actually being egoless enough to pay attention to what's happening and discussing it with the naturopathic doctor, and really honoring that for me, the 7-day was a point because I was starting to eat my own body up,
Remember,
in a sense.
but your 7 was, like I said, she's been working at this. A 7-day for her was like, I've done this for a while, like I said, it's like 14 days, just because she's in the sauna. She's digging in her body. She's getting in the cobwebs and the nooks and crannies and the corrosion. Most people, they're not going to do that. You saw some of the other people, okay? They were just starting, was brand new. And maybe they could fast longer, but remember, they had a lot more like beginning detoxing to do. And in the beginning, it is something, if you want to. 7 days is a graduation for anybody at any level. And if you're at Neidra's level, it's like I said, it's like you're doing 14 days. And if you do the IV therapies and the massage and the colon hydrotherapy, remember, look at the size of some of those parasites. I can't even make it as big enough on the camera here.
It was like amazing what came out of people. We all shared.
Wow. Okay. And pictures don't lie. And these are creatures that live basically in all of us. Some, of course, take over more and have more power inside the body, and this is where you disconnect through the water fasting, and all of a sudden you get your sanity, because there's not all these weird things knacking at you all day to feed them. And then you remember, you go through this just like you did. You're going through trying not to feed with glucose, because that's a no-no, I found out. Even though everybody does this, I don't think it's smart, because that's half the problem, is yeast, mold, fungus, candida, and they feed specifically on sugar. Now, when you went back to food, what did you really remember, the first thought? Because you're advanced, so I'm asking you these things. What was your first food? Remember, you can have something. Did you have things flashing in your head? Even though you were going to have probiotic coconut, you're going to have such and such, did you have thoughts of something that you really wanted, and what was that?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Beautiful.
I was so sold on getting the probiotics because my aspiration was to rebuild my gut, and I know I would not proliferate. I couldn't wait to put the probiotics in. I mean, this program is the best in the world. It's so well thought out. So I couldn't wait to start putting those probiotics in, and I could feel this energy. That first
Nourishment.
drink, something so intelligent coming into my body. So there was a sensation when we started the liquids of refeeding of like food of the gods, and the liquids of the god, something that your body needs so in such a pure form with no work, because it's still liquids. It's still another 7 days of liquids.
And you're training it to have the foods that the mind now is way more in control of the body because you disconnected the body from controlling the mind. Now the mind knows, like she said, remember, she's advanced. Now, I ask this to people all the time, and some people tell me the first thing they want is a hamburger.
Oh.
Okay, now this is weird. Okay, remember, your parasites are still in power, guys. You've just all of a sudden sort of like you've closed the door on them, but they're still there. So, you know, and a lot of people sometimes will say, when you're healthier, okay, you'll say, I want some oil and salt.
Yeah.
Okay, not sugar.
Yeah.
And if you're not that healthy, the first thing you may want is a piece of fruit or something that's sugary, and it'll actually taste really super good to you, versus if you're a little healthier, if you have the sugar, I don't even like that. Okay, so because remember, you've disconnected everybody, and in order for you to break down simple glucose, a lot of it, especially like in a cola drink or anything like that, remember, you have to have an assistant inside your system. Your system can't break down all that sugar. It's impossible. So what you're doing is you're colonizing certain things. So once you disconnect from like this, you can go ahead and see how and what you want to feed with. And is it easy to refeed? So for you, see, you're advanced. I like to look at her layer. And look, it was seamless for you to be able to have the mind in control and say, this is what I'm going to do. And not only that, you enjoyed the fermented drinks.
Oh my God, it was like the best.
And then your mind knows that Daniel, this master raw food chef here, okay, is making and slowly introducing you to the foods that now you are only wanting to eat, is because you're going to train your gut wall flora to be able to now only break down these fuels that you know that are good. And once you train them for 30 days, then you own your own bacteria again. And they like what now you like is because you told them what to like. So it's really a little hard for people. Remember, your bacteria have 90% of your genetic code inside your body. So they're very important to keep that, what you call the military, okay? That's your military of you. And so what I constantly do is I constantly, still even right now, and I found this out to be my sanity, is to be able to have 5, you see in my house, I've got like 6 or 7 ferments going at the same time. And if I'm hungry or I feel like I need something, I'm going to constantly keep reflourishing my intestinal tract with these military. Okay, my military that actually I grew myself. They're not pills that you take. Okay, and this is one of the most important connections that you have to make. You disconnect the parasites, you rebuild your gut wall flora, because the parasites, remember, inside they're pooping and they're causing a lot of havoc in the intestinal tract. So once you slough off, as we've seen in some of that colon hydrotherapy, because what do you want to do? You got to dissolve things out of you. You got to wash them out of you. If not, you get sick. And then you have space, like Neidra was saying, to re-nutrify, to put back in. And remember, I told you, her mind, she's not a professional, okay? She's a teacher. She's constant. Professional means you don't really know that much more than what you know right now, and most likely you're an authority. No, none of us are authorities. And we're trying to find out what's best for us, like she was saying. And in order to really get this going, though, like you're doing right now, look, don't you think everybody needs to do this?
Oh, this is like, it's kind of basics 101. I mean, we do not live in a safe world anymore. We live in a very polluted world, and even if people are striving to be healthy, there's a lot going against us with the air and the water and just about everything that we buy in the store.
GMOs, mercury, phthalate, fluoride. Yeah.
So it's not something you can coast on, and I would say if it is, I mean, frankly, this should be basic 101 in schools. And by the time our kids are in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, they should go through a initiation like this into their health. This would be a very intelligent society we lived in if we lived like that. But yeah, everyone needs it. And hand in hand with that, you start where you can. You do what you can. And you do the most you can with the understanding that there's always the next level.
Always.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people really hesitate starting this, is because they feel it's too much, it's too confusing. Don't think that way, guys. You don't even have to change your diet if you want to start this. We're in the sauna. We didn't change our diet except add more water. You can clean your skin. You can learn all the different exterior protocols. You can clean up your household, pots and pans, all your different nickelware, which is silverware, okay? Chlorine coming out of your faucet in your shower, chloramines, fluoride. You know, these are all little booby traps, changing your detergents. So there's lots of little pieces. So sometimes I say, if you have a family, mom gets to figure out all the household stuff because she's sort of like the matriarch. And dad, well, in order for you to be sort of like smart in your family, you got to detox so you can get clear again. And it would be really, really good for everybody. Just give it a try. And a lot of people don't want to do this. Try stop eating any flesh or blood for 6 months. just give it a try. Your family will love each other way more. You won't feel any of this weirdness that basically everybody's sort of aggravated or frustrated sometimes, because remember, what you're eating is a lot of weird stuff. It's not just the flesh. You have to watch and see how these animals are grown, and you're eating not only the antibodies, the antibiotics, vaccines, and hormones, but you're eating all their death chemicals and stuff. So this helps the family really get online. And I think this is what, this is what we're doing up here. This is a clinical study that we've been doing here. We've had about 200 people come through and do these simple protocols, because they're simple.
Yeah.
But they're effective. Why? It's because there is a reason behind each of the protocols. Each of the protocols has a reason to help the other part of the protocol become more effective. Distilled water fasting is good, but the IV therapies, no matter, and there's lots of different therapies, glutathione, alpha-lipoic acid, high levels of vitamin C,
hydrogen peroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide
It's
drips.
incredible what we've been getting.
Yeah, and then, so you see this program, you've already gone through it, it's very simple, and what I would like to see is many different people. It's not Dr. Cassar's program or Neidra's program. No, this is just a connecting of the dots, an integrative program for all of us to be able to sort of get up to this level, and it needs to be, of course, it's a work in progress. Take it from here, though. This has a lot of efficacy, repeatable truth. Did you notice anybody here that was here that you saw before they came here, when they left, they were magically different?
Totally. I mean, like physically looking different, mentally accelerated, like 200%. Happy. Happiness is priceless. Inspired. And the big kudos to this place is we're all going home implementing. We can't wait to get home so that we can get going with upgrading. I mean, I'm planning to go straight from the airport to Ace to buy a whole bunch of mason jars, farmer's market to get all my vegetables.
And the tops, too.
And the right top, that's right. And I am spending tomorrow putting all my probiotic and ferments together and fixing my kitchen up and getting my kombucha started. So it's like I want this as part of my daily life, and I've now gained the confidence. That was the phase 3. How do I keep all of these foods cycling through the kitchen? How do I keep the sustaining program when I'm back to work and life?
It's cheap to do.
It's easy.
Easy and cheap. It's not like this is something that's going to cost you more than what you were doing.
No, less.
It is a change in your perception of what you need. Okay, so if you just cut out, like I said, if you cut out what you spend on meat every month, okay, which is, if you like it or not, you are taking antibiotics, you are taking hormones, and you are taking vaccines just from the meat. So if you are going to have flesh, you really want to have grass-fed, organic, okay? And I wouldn't even trust that too much right now. And the reason being is because just because it's organic, they can feed them organic corn. Cows don't eat corn. The birds and everything. So just give yourself a rest, and this will be like doing a fast. It's not a water fast, it's not a juice fast, but it's a flesh fast. And that's like the first layer, because a lot of people can't do this just because they're too, I don't like to say it, too infested with creatures inside their body that won't let them, because they'll get sick and they feel terrible if they do anything different. And you know what I'm talking about. One of the guys working here, if he does anything different than has his regimen of foods that I know that aren't good for him, but if he puts in the good foods and has certain foods that we know that are actually essential for you, he gets a stomach ache beyond relief, because he's really ticking off all of his parasites. So, you've graduated, like I said. Part 2 is digging deeper. She's advanced, is what I'd call her, so we're going to do an advanced protocol. And advanced protocol, since we can do this, not because she's so advanced, just because she does Pilates and everything, because she's been doing this stuff. Her body's really open right now. Okay, her system's ready to go to the next layer. And she had bruises all over her working the gouaching, which is just breaking down hard tissue, sclerodermic tissue. Remember, wrinkles are scleroderma. That's
what I want to learn.
Yeah, when you have thickness in your chest, like remember one of the people here, I grabbed her tissue there and she wouldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it because it was sore. So, you're trying to break down different layers, but the most important thing that you really have to work on in time is once you start to make sure that you can, at least sweat, river sweat, when you're in here for 10 minutes, you should be river sweating, is to really learn the skin cleaning, okay, without even doing the gouaching. just skin cleaning and really digging deep to get off what lives on the skin, what lives in the skin, which is a lot of fungus, and what lives in the pores. And once you find out this works, then you'll want to do the next thing. Why? Because this was profound for you, and it was simple. You didn't have to change your diet.
And skin cleaning is fun because I've done it before I came here. I've even done workshops where I share the black that comes off of you. It's so satisfying. It's like, look at this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing what can come out. And I would go to hot yoga with my bottle of vodka and do the skin cleaning after the class, after I'd showered, and I still get black.
You get that.
And it's like, oh, holy camole, this is like good stuff to get out of me.
Just 2 seconds before we go to part 2. Just to bring this, because a lot of people go, the alcohol, you don't use isopropyl alcohol. No. That's poison to your body. It'll dry it out. You don't use straight vodka without the minerals, without all the different solutions, MSM, sodium bicarbonate, magnesium mineral, silicate. You want to put on all these things. You can put diatomaceous earth. There's a whole elixir that you make from the base of the alcohol. If not, remember, the alcohol is too dry and it's going to damage your skin. So this is very important to really, play around. If you only had a couple of elements to put in your vodka, then you just put in sodium bicarbonate, which is super cheap, okay, and the magnesium minerals, because it's not only magnesium, but it has all the minerals in there. So at least when the alcohol goes in your skin, you're trying to push in the minerals in the skin too, because that helps sanitize it. Like I said, we're going to do part 2. She's, like I said, intermediate advanced, because you can start this intermediately too. But when you're beginning, trying to open as much as you can, like I was always telling people. Guys, before you start getting into the deeper protocols, because there's lots of them, you want to try to do the simpler ones effectively and try to do them consistently. And just going in the sauna, if you did this twice a day, this therapy, and you didn't do anything, but you did it twice a day, and you just cut out meat, you'll lose 15 to 20 pounds in 6 weeks just from doing that. Because remember, the body fat has to do with the amount of toxicity. And if your skin gets open, once you clean the skin, you can lose toxicity. Look at all the sweat. Neidra, she's got river sweat going, okay? Sweating down her. This is because her pores are open. And she doesn't smell one bit. And you can see, I got the river sweat going, okay? In the beginning, I didn't have river sweat. It's because my skin was plugged. I was clogged. So just sort of think again. If your skin is plugged, okay, most likely you have excess body weight on you, body fat. And if you open up your skin pores, then magic happens and you start losing weight, okay? So here we go, part 2. Whew, let's give him a chakas for...
Chakas?
Let me give you a sweaty kiss too. She's so beautiful. All right, perfect. Thank you. We'll see you. 1 sec.
Important reminder: all information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earth Shift Live radio talk show or therein.